Hey y'all, it's David, and you are listening to Backtrack, a podcast where we talk all things nostalgia. So today, my co-host Jonathan and I are going to be doing some deep dives into introductions, who we are, what we're about, all that good stuff. So enjoy the show. So good morning and good afternoon to everybody out there. This is Backtrack. This is a podcast where we talk everything nostalgia. So I've got Jonathan here.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. Glad to be with you.
Yeah, thanks for lending me your Sunday, Jonathan. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. And I'm David. So Jonathan, let me tell you where this kind of came up.
Okay.
So there's another podcast out there, couple of dudes, mid-30s, mid-40s. Unfortunately, we're not too far off.
Yeah, late 20s is starting to hit harder than I thought it would.
Yeah, seriously. And so this is what they do. They they look at media about 10, 20 years ago, or they just kind of look at eras in time that have, I feel like 10 years is kind of that universal marker where people tend to look at things in a more retro nostalgic light.
Absolutely. Think about it. Like when we were kids in the 90s, like the 70s and the 80s were like the huge thing, right? So now that we're in the 2020s, I guess, I don't even know where we are, but that sounds right. Like the 2000s, the 90s, like our childhood is now considered like what the 70s used to be. And it's crazy, right? How having a filter on that will just make everything change in the viewer's eyes.
Yeah, it really is. And context is everything because we're in that millennial group and
Yes.
I think, I'm not sure what do you know what's before us?
Gen X. They were like the 80s. Okay. Yeah, because I think millennials goes to like 95, then Gen Z takes over.
Okay, so it's Gen X and then the baby boomers, right? So we're two removed?
Yes, I'm going to say yes. Don't quote me.
Got it. Okay, so, hopefully this kind of hits home to a lot of you out there. And Jonathan, the reason I had to bring you on is because, we're cousins, we're friends. We've been
This is true.
Talking each other's ear off forever, it feels like.
Blood will do that to you.
Yeah, just incessantly. And anyway, and if I was going to talk and do this type of thing with somebody, you have a natural ability to romanticize and find meaning in the most ridiculous of things. Now, Jonathan is a person that I feel like could take a trip to the grocery store. He can make it spiritual. He can make it a human experience.
Well, thanks. I'm glad that our incessant talks are human. That makes me happy.
Good. No, once we start digging into shit, I absolutely imagine that kind of stuff is going to come out. It's kind of hard to talk about it, right? Subjectively, without really biting into anything, but it'll come out.
The good news is I know nothing of what's going to go on here tonight, folks. So whatever we're going to be shooting out tonight is all going to be completely just improv. We're just going to go with it. So whatever topics we go over, it's going to be from the heart, from our memory, whatever memory we may have of it, and we're going to go from there.
For sure. So yeah, going forward, we're going to be looking at kind of the same thing those guys are doing, just because it seems really fun. Just looking at shit.
I'd love to check them out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll let you know, and and maybe we'll change Backtrack to something else. I don't know. We'll see. But they're Knockback, and I think they're Dagan and Colin are the guys that run it. So yeah, they're pretty cool.
We'll have to fight them.
So yeah.
Not really. We're not going to fight them.
It'll be a while if we ever get onto their level before we come into.
That's fair. I wouldn't want to fight someone taller than me, which is everybody. So
I get you.
There we go.
So Jonathan,
good choice.
Thanks. Yeah. No, my wife Lexi, she's gotten me into these things for the past 6 months now.
I'm drinking some cheap ass sake right now because I already poured a cup before we started recording and I didn't want to waste it. So this is my vessel for the evening.
No, I get you. That's a good one. Keep the nerves calm and cool.
I want to be able to talk to you guys without feeling like a piece of crap. So here we are.
Yeah, that too. All right. So Jonathan, I've got
All right.
So no one knows who you are. So tell me,
True.
Who are you? And what do you think about being here? What's your story?
Who am I?
Yeah,
Well,
one of those fun
this is
questions.
one part of it. Definitely a big N64 gamer. I loved Mario. I loved Zelda. I loved all these guys. And I grew up playing them. And funny enough, so I actually majored in English for my college degree. And when I was going to college, like, I loved fantasy, and fantasy stems from a lot of the games I used to play as a kid. You know, like all my Legend of Zelda adventures just really led me to where I am now. It's a really kind of lame thing to say, but it's true. Like I love swords, I love axes, I love magic, I love orcs, I love everything that has to do with not being here, I guess is the best way to put it. I love here,
I get you.
but there can be better sometimes. So here we are. It's fun to talk about it, and it's fun to look at it.
No, definitely. Like that high fantasy is no, I totally get it. Yeah, big Nintendo fan too. Are you playing Skyward? Random
I
question.
am. We just hit so we finished the desert temple in Lanairu mining facility. I hope it's mining facility. It's something facility that has to do with mining activities in Lanairu. So we just finished that. We're like the halfway-ish point of the game where you go back to the forest region, and we're about to do like the water temple, which is gonna be cool. I
Okay.
mean, it's never cool in a Zelda game, but we are doing a water temple coming up probably in the next couple of days. My fiance and I, when I say we,
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. You and Paige. Yeah. No, I always thought Skyward did the Water Temple really well compared to
yeah,
the others.
it was one of the least painful ones, right? Because you go
Yeah.
back to Ocarina, whew, right? Like that's one of those ones where that's where people stop. That's where all of my files
Yeah.
stopped was at the water temple. It was fun until you got there.
And see, I don't even really remember the Skyward Water Temple, but I have a very clear, distinct memory of it not being that painful. Like
So from what I remember, it's kind of like it's called the Ancient Cistern, and it's like this. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a plumbing apparatus, right? So you're like in this like golden area, and then you end up going to the depths of hell. You're like in this demon region, like underneath in the sewers, and then you come back up, and you're back in the Ancient Cistern. But I remember the boss was the best because you could just. He's
they're
like this
so cool in
big
this one.
Shiva dude. Like he's got like six,
Mm-hmm.
7, 8 arms, and he has like weapons in each of them. And you're fighting with a whip, and you can like take his weapons and like beat the crap out of him and like dismember him. It was a great fight.
No, for sure. Are you guys doing the motion controls? Because I know it's kind of controversial. I loved them. Like I thought it was really fucking awesome the way that like they implemented it.
We switch. So I play more with emotion. She plays more with the controls. So they're both really fun in their own way. The nice thing about the button controls is, let's say the dude who has like the bamboo hut, and you go and you like
Yeah,
cut the bamboo like as many times as you can before it falls.
I do know what you're
So
talking about.
the button controls are great for that. But
Gotcha.
I still like to play the game that the way that the play the game the way that it was imagined, which is with the motion controls. I personally prefer to play with motion like 90% of the time if I can.
Yeah, me too. And it's just so much better than what it was on the Wii. I hardly
Yeah.
remember it. I don't know if you ever replayed Skyward. I think I lent it out.
I would have. So our other cousin has his Skyward disc, or had at least for many many years. I have my old one, but the problem is my Wii remotes and my nunchucks are all kind of, they don't really work that great anymore, especially the Motion Plus ones. Like whenever I plug a nunchuck into it, they don't. I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And
No,
so even though I have the original, I had to kind of get the one for the Switch because it's the only way I could really play it functionally, if that
I
makes
guess yeah.
sense.
No, yeah. I mean that one. Um, sorry. Yeah, no, that one like opposed to all
Requires.
the other. It really is like of all the Zelda games that are out there, that one was probably one of the more difficult ones to like go back and look at. It's really kind of
Yes.
yeah. So really happy that they did it. All right, so here's a fun one.
Okay.
So
New
just kind of
topic.
moving on. um, so I was trying to think of if we're going to if we're going to be doing this and we're going to be doing it kind of routinely, like what were some like fun questions to maybe ask you? Like, so Jonathan, what do you think of if this ever did get to the point, or like you showed it around, what do you think of people that like in your real life, looking at this and just seeing like what do you do? How do you feel about that?
What's the question again?
And so,
What am I looking at? I'm sorry. I misunderstood the question. Go for it.
no, you're good. And that was probably my fault. So other people, like friends, coworkers, if they just randomly stumbled upon this
Oh,
podcast,
our podcast. Okay,
yeah,
my bad. Sorry.
how would you feel about that?
I mean, as long as they're cool with me wearing a beanie and looking at Yoshi and Zelda in the background, I mean, God, Zelda, Link in the background, then we should be okay. Like, I mean, it's fun to look at things from the past, and not everybody that we know has done all the things that we've done, but at the same time, most people can relate to a good chunk of the things that we're going to talk about, especially people who have been in like the video game or movie
Yeah.
scene. We should be good.
And see, I'm kind of the same way. Like it always kind of makes me I don't know. This is not a front that I really like put on display in such a public manner. It's kind of weird, like the idea that and I don't imagine that anybody I really know would really see it unless like we explicitly showed it to them. But it would definitely be kind of odd to I mean, if your boss or something were to like tune in and maybe you're dropping F bombs or something in here, it might be a little weird.
I'll keep them precise and appropriate if I'm going to drop any F bombs.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. For me, it's just kind of more just being a little bit more open because I tend to be I like to keep those worlds pretty separate, if you know what I mean, like social.
Understood.
To
absolutely.
So this is definitely kind of weird in that aspect. All right, well, cool. All right, well, glad you're taking it in a much more positive light than how I feel about it. It just makes me fucking anxious, to be honest. Like the idea, just knowing that it's out there. I don't know. It just makes me anxious. It's kind of silly since we're just talking about fun stuff.
Potential fame, everybody. Yeah. What it'll do to you?
Potential fame.
What is our next topic for the day? Game master, dungeon master,
so
whoever master.
So it's kind of funny. So you talk about this like potential fame. So here we are. So I kind of see this one as more almost kind of like a time capsule for us to look back and see how it started. You know, hopefully we've gotten better by the time we're looking at this.
I would like to think so. I don't know what I'm doing. But I'm glad that everyone hopefully is enjoying this. If they are enjoying this, if anyone's watching, then that's great.
Yeah. That's the idea. And see if maybe my throat clear has become less obvious. I don't know. It's just kind of a fun little time capsule for us. Anything. So it kind of leads me into this other. I try to come up with these like fun, like doom and gloom questions about so
2021. What's gonna go wrong next?
I guess it is appropriate. All
okay.
Right. So here's this one. So let's just say you and I keep doing this and we do it pretty consistently.
Okay.
Do you think that this fails and we just stop doing it, or do you think that it could eventually turn into anything? I want raw, gut check. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about what we're doing here? Is this just gonna just go to you, me, and a couple friends? What do you think?
I don't like to give up on anything. That's not the way I am. Funny. Okay, so here's a side quest over here for everybody. So I just started a new job, funny enough. During COVID, I worked as someone who captioned phone calls for people who had audio disabilities. So I would take live calls and I would caption those calls live for whoever our clients were. And so COVID hit maybe a few months after I started that job. I was like, I served tables for years before that. And I thought, I want something in an office. I want something that's going to grow me professionally. So I did this job for the last year and a half or so. And I said, wow, this isn't for me, right? So I'm starting a new job and I'm going more into the retail sector just because I just need to make money for the next year and figure out what I'm going to do with my life, because my fiance and I are getting married in the next 7 months, and we're probably going to move out of state, and we're going to look into more professional things after we leave. So whatever I'm doing right now is just to pay the rent and to go from there. And I just started a new job in the retail sector, and it's Pretty rough. It's great. The people are great. Like I really enjoy the actual activities of the job, but I I'm not very big, everybody. These are my arms, these are my wrists, these are my scrawny body parts. I don't pick up boxes and put them on shelves very well, if that if that clears it up for anybody. So
No.
I'm struggling with this job. I've been here for like a few weeks, like learning how to do everything, and I don't want to give up because that's not who I am. I want to do things and get better at them. And even if that means going through periods of some trials and tribulations. So we're gonna get there,
Call it
dude.
that.
Like I don't want to call this a trial or a tribulation, but if it means that this is
That's
going to
what
be
it
a
is.
challenge, then we'll get there. Just take some time.
Cool.
It's going to
Yeah.
be more than our friends. It's going to be our friends' friends. Okay, that's my first goal. Let's go from there.
I mean, that's how it starts. Like you just kind of get people you know, then it slowly propagates, and maybe you like hit the right, maybe we talk about something at the right time, at the right place. You never know.
You
But
never
yeah,
know.
no, you've got a lot of big shit happening in your life right now,
There's a
right?
lot of transition in my life. I'm sorry for boring everybody.
No, no, that's big stuff. Uh, it's really, really big stuff. And I think
What you got
I
next?
already kind of asked that.
I'm hungry. I'm ready to go.
So for people that don't know, like, I typically wear glasses, so I feel like they're freaking getting worse. So that's what I
Yeah,
keep doing. I
we
keep having to.
decided that the blue light glare was a little much because you couldn't see his beautiful eyes. So we decided let's
Thank
try to
you.
take them off and see from there.
Yeah, I wouldn't want
So he can't see anything.
to. A little bit, like if I get like ridiculous with it. Okay. So
I
this
can't
one's a
either, if
little.
that helps.
Oh, really?
No, I'm not wearing my glasses either. I mean, I know what's going on in front of me, but anything past the screen is like unknown territory.
It's kind of a fun metaphor. Like we're both blind physically, and
We're working
metaphorically.
our way through the dark, like very, very, very like not metaphorically, but like realistically right now.
Yeah, it's a funny parallel. All right, so here's the I guess before we jump on the next one, yeah, no, I feel pretty good about it too. I keep thinking like before, like we haven't even made this one. For those who don't know, we fucked up probably about like a whole hour before we even kind of got onto this tread. And we're
It
probably
was like 40 takes, maybe more.
yeah, pretty rough, really, really pretty bad. And even with that, I'm still kind of going into this with this idea that it will have some traction. I have a kind of a tendency to do that. I kind of see like well beyond of like where like we need to be. Like I always think of like I think past the point, like once like you achieve the goal and then you're kind of working around it. That's where my mind always kind of tends to go, like every in both like work, personally, and relationships. So I'm feeling good about it too. The fact that I keep planning as if like it's going to be something is probably probably a good sign.
Short term is always a good way to start, you know?
Yeah.
Like, let's
Just
go short term. Let's get 10 people, then we'll get 20 people, then we'll get 50 people, then we'll get 100 people. And God help us if we get more than that and people listening to us, then we'll
yeah,
see what happens from there.
for sure. All right. So Jonathan, what are you excited about like so doing this thing like every couple weeks or so, just talking about some stuff that, whether it be a video game, a movie, maybe a band or artwork, or maybe like a period of time, like when smartphones were just random shit like that, just to kind of give everybody listening an idea as to like what type of stuff that we'd be like really digging into. So what excites you, if anything?
I mean, okay, I was an English major, but I should have studied humanities. I love the arts. I love movies. I love games. I love everything that makes a human culture a human culture. I love what makes us us. And so to
Yeah,
see these things that have developed us into who we are today, whether through any kind of media, to be honest with you, like it's exciting to talk about that because I mean, I know a lot of people talk about it, but I think that as
sure.
many people talk about it as possible is a good thing because this is how we became who we are, is what we've seen. I'm very much a nurture versus nature kind of guy. Like, yeah, you are who you are, born through like whatever, but what you've seen, what you've done, and who you've become through those experiences, I think are the
Yeah.
most important things.
Yeah, it really is fascinating and how it's just so contextually different, like generation and generation. And also too, the other side effect is that, like, I don't know, like maybe if like we talk on like some like random like movie or game that maybe hasn't got so much love, or maybe hasn't got any love or TLC in like, I don't know, 10, 20 years, it'd be good to kind of like shout them out, sing their praises.
Tender love and care. They need it.
So yeah. And so yeah, those were kind of the questions I wanted to throw out. I was like, so the whole difficult thing with this, intros are always hard. Saying who you are is always like, how do you answer that? Like what kind of fucking question is that?
I
Who
didn't
are
know
you?
how to ask. I didn't know how to answer any of that. I just started talking and it would see what happened.
It's what you kind of got to do. It's rough. So these intros are always kind of that you just kind of got to get them out of the way. And
yeah, none of you are watching this, but we're glad that you're here if you are.
yeah. If you made it through this point, like your bar is like on the fucking floor.
Yeah, like in 10 years from now, and you had the time to actually watch this, we really appreciate you.
Yeah, because like you've got like, I mean, that's the thing about like today, like everything's vying for your attention, and there's so much stuff that is like worth your attention too. It's not like, I don't know, like not that long ago, like 30, 40 years ago, like it was just fucking nothing. Like, I mean,
what do you mean by that? So elaborate. I just want to make sure I know what you're saying.
I guess if ignorantly, I guess like I'm thinking of a world with the internet and little supercomputers in our pocket, with information being on
in a world where the library was the only source of information.
Yeah, it just wasn't like that back in the day. And
it was not. And for better or for worse,
Yeah, it's a different world. So yeah, so Jonathan, before I let you go, and I just
you'll never let me go.
No, I'm gonna hold you tight. Well, Jonathan, thank you very much for letting me steal your Sunday. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Absolutely. I had a wonderful time talking with you. I hope that we can see you around next time. Week, right. 2 weeks, whenever you want it to be.
Sounds good. And thank you everybody for listening this far. If you made it this far, just thank you so much.
And God bless you if you made it this far.
Yeah, God bless. Have a great week. All right, see ya.
See ya.
Hey all, thanks for listening to Backtrack. If you'd like to tune in for some more things like this, just, be sure to subscribe on the way out. Until next time.